Hi, Patrick here from the Xyna team. This video will cover the type-safe usage of Xyna data types in Zeta. Let's create a website that shows the details for all vehicles in a carpool. To achieve this, we use the existing workflow query carpool, which returns a list of the type vehicle. We start with the Zeta boilerplate project as explained in the previous tutorial. In the components constructor, we call the workflow from the workspace xcars as set in environment ts. Furthermore, we specify the input as an empty array since the workflow has no inputs. But what about the output? The GUI requires a Zeta class corresponding to the vehicle data type in Xyna. The process modeler provides a feature for automatic creation of such a class. We just need to open the data type and click on Open in Converter. This generates a so-called XO class that we can use in our Zeta project. Xyna communicates with the GUI via JSON objects sent through the REST requests. Zeta's XO classes and services eliminate the need for manually sending REST requests to Xyna, creating and parsing JSONs, etc. The converter gives us a Zeta class that inherits from XO object, making it compatible with Zeta services. The decorator class XO object class specifies the superclass and the full qualifying name. We can download the generated XO class and store it in our Zeta project. Let's create a directory called XO to store such classes. The XO classes represent the model of the GUI. This is how it looks in VS Code. We notice that the types XO drive type and XO wheel are missing, which are used for these member variables. Hence, we download them via the converter too. Now we can import and use them in XO vehicle. Also notice that the converter automatically created a class XO vehicle array, which is used for lists of the data type. Using this setup, we are ready to send requests and interpret the results. Let's use it in our component. For the start order request, we specify the return type as XO vehicle array since the workflow returns a list of vehicles. We store this list in a member variable. Now let's use it to display information about the returned cars. It's generally recommended to use Zeta components for building a Zeta GUI, but those are the topic of the next video in this series, so for now we use plain HTML elements. We iterate over the returned vehicle array and create a description list entry for each vehicle and display the manufacture year, mileage, price and registration number. When we examine the data type, we see there's also information about the drive type stored in a complex member. We can access this information via the members of the subclass. Here we use it to show its members in a flat view. Investigating the result with the browser's DevTools helps us in understanding how the communication works. The start order call sends a REST request and the result is a JSON object. Notice that it contains various meta information in $meta tags. Those are used by the Zeta service to automatically convert the result into an instance of the corresponding XO class. Let's take a closer look at the generated XO classes. The converter automatically added Zeta decorators to the members. XO property means it's part of the backend interface and will be encoded, sent, received, and decoded automatically when using the Zeta services for communication with Xyna. XO unique marks the property as the unique identifier. This is important when using Zeta components for lists, where it's used, for instance, to restore a selection after a refresh. This will be covered in the next video. Also see the Xyna wiki on GitHub for more details about the decorators. Now let's assume we want the GUI to display data that isn't directly contained in the result, but can be easily obtained from it. Such data can still be considered part of the GUI model, so it would make sense to also store it in an XO class. For this purpose, there's the XO transient decorator. It marks a member as not part of the backend interface, only existing in the GUI. For example, let's add one for the number of wheels. A common way to set its content is by overriding the method after the code, which is called right after the received JSON object from Xyna is parsed and used to fill the variables that have an XO property decorator. Therefore, we can access their values to fill our transient members. The new member can now be added to the website. As we can see, for every vehicle, the number of wheels is displayed. Now it's your turn to experiment with the Zeta data model. For more information, refer to the Xyna wiki on GitHub and stay tuned for the upcoming videos in this series. Feel free to contact us if you have further questions.